My name is Waffles, and I'm a government whistleblower turned political commentator. Welcome to part 2 of why Trump's policies are bad for the economy. We're just going to do a general overview. Donald Trump's economic policies, especially during his presidency 2017 to 2021, and his proposed 2025 agenda are controversial because while they provide short-term boosts for specific industries or groups, many economists argue that they are harmful to the broader economy in the long run. Here are some key reasons why his policies are considered bad for the economy, especially when evaluated through the lenses of sustainability, inequality, and global stability. Massive tax cuts that blew up the deficit. Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, TCJA, slashed corporate tax rates from 35% to 21% and lowered individual taxes, especially for the wealthy. Problem: the tax cuts added nearly $2 trillion to the national debt over a decade, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Corporate windfalls were mostly used for stock buybacks, not wage growth or investment. Temporary middle-class cuts expire while corporate cuts are permanent, worsening income inequality. Effect: short-term stimulus, but long-term damage to fiscal sustainability and public services. Trade wars that hurt U.S. manufacturing and consumers. Policy: Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese goods and steel/aluminum from other nations, aiming to reduce trade deficits and punish for unfair practices. Problem: American farmers and manufacturers were caught in the crossfire due to retaliatory tariffs. Tariffs raised prices on consumer goods and inputs, functioning as a tax on U.S. businesses and families. Trump's tariffs failed to achieve meaningful change in Chinese trade practices. Trade uncertainty disrupted supply chains and hurt export-driven industries without clear long-term benefits. Encouraging dysregulation at the cost of stability, Trump aggressively rolled back financial, environmental, and labor regulations to spur business activity. Problem: weakening oversight of Wall Street risks increased financial instability. Environmental deregulation hurt climate resilience and long-term economic sustainability. Labor deregulatory moves, e.g. gig economy rules, undermined worker protections and wages. Short-term cost cuts for corporations, but at the risk of long-term public and financial health. Failed infrastructure promises. Trump promised a $1 trillion infrastructure plan, but never delivered significant federal investment. Infrastructure was left to decay, reducing U.S. competitiveness and productivity. State and local governments were left without federal support for urgent repairs and modernization. Lost opportunity to boost middle-class jobs and long-term economic growth. Hostility towards the Federal Reserve. Trump regularly has attacked the Fed and pressured it to keep interest rates low, especially to support stock markets. Problem: undermining the Fed's independence threatens the stability of the dollar and investor confidence. Politicizing monetary policy can lead to economic overheating or delayed responses to inflation. The effect is long-term damage to the credibility of one of the world's most important economic institutions. Anti-immigration policies that hurt growth. Policy: Trump's immigration agenda includes mass deportations, visa cuts, and refugee caps. The problem: it reduced legal immigration during a labor shortage, which hurt industries like agriculture, healthcare, and tech. Immigration is a key driver of population and productivity growth in the U.S., slow long-term economic expansion, and weakening of America's global talent edge. Populist rhetoric masking crony capitalism. Trump claimed to fight for the working class, but his economic team favored Wall Street interests. Policies favored real estate and private equity, e.g. opportunity zones, without adequate oversight or community benefit. COVID-19 relief, PPP loans, etc. was distributed unevenly, often favoring large business over small ones. Public trust eroded as inequality grew and wealthy saw massive gains. 2025 agenda warnings: tariffs, deportations, and cuts. Trump's projected 2025 Economic plan includes a 10% universal import tariff, essentially a massive new tax on consumers, mass deportations of undocumented immigrants, which could cripple entire sectors, possible cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and public services to pay for deficits, authoritarian control over the Fed and DOJ, creating economic and political instability. Tax cuts, short-term, boosts to profits and stocks, long-term risks, exploding deficits, and inequality. Trade tariffs, political points, and protection. Long-term risks, price hikes, retaliation, global tensions. Deregulation, business cost reduction is the short-term effect. Long-term effect is environmental harm and worker exploitation. Short-term effect of immigration limits equals a political win for MAGA. The long-term risk is slower population and GDP growth. Fed undermining, short-term effect, cheap money. Long-term risk, inflation risk, and financial instability. And these are just a few of the reasons why Donald Trump's policies are hurting the economy.
So the Olympics is great. And Johnny, for the others, the World Cup, Johnny is the head of it. We had our top people, Wasserman. They all came in on the Olympics, and then I saw Johnny. And we got the World Cup, too. And, it's only because they rigged the election that I'll be your president representing you there. I got both of them. I got the Olympics, and I got the World Cup. And I said, it's too bad. One was in 2026, and the other was in 2028. And I said, I won't be there. I won't be your president. But then they rigged the election. And now we won, so I'm going to be your president for the Olympics and for the World Cup. So, Johnny, thank you for the World Cup. And everybody, thank you for the Olympics. We're going to have a great time.
Hey, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment to my videos. And also, don't forget to check out my shop where you could get this awesome Real Patriots, Punch Nazis t-shirt. America, fuck yeah. And if you go to the link tree in my bio on most platforms, it's got links to everything, all of my stuff. You can find my shop there. I'm on eBay. You can also get this cool Exterminate MAGA sticker, because MAGA's fucking cockroaches. And fuck MAGA, abolish MAGA, fuck you MAGA.
Day.